Good afternoon, angels. This is Miss Hemingway with another art lesson for you. Last week I asked you what is art or who is an artist, and I received some quite fantastic answers to this question. You weren't thinking about drawing, painting and colouring, but also people who dance, sing, write poetry, write stories, act, make models and sculptures, take photographs. I had a wonderful variety of answers, and I want to say well done for thinking so carefully about that question. Here's a man you might recognise, our artist that we are studying, Wu Guanzhong. Here's his name in Chinese, and here is a photograph of Wu Guanzhong drawing art using lights in the air, and somebody's taken a photograph of him. So that's another style of art, yet again a different style. And here he's drawn a picture of himself. Wu Guanzhong says that he is an artist of feeling rather than fact. I wonder, what do you think that means? I'm going to ask you again in a minute. So, he was inspired by two particular types of art, and I'll just explain that a bit further. So, Wu Guanzhong was born in China. Traditional Chinese artists used ink wash with delicate brush strokes, using black ink but building up tone and shading so that the pictures look real. As you can see, this is so detailed it could almost be a photograph, but it's just drawn or maybe painted with black ink and water. So sometimes it's very dark, as you can see here, and sometimes it's washed out a little with water to create shade. Amazing. Wu Guanzhong was very inspired by this traditional artwork of his country, but he also trained as an artist in Paris, France. So Wu Guanzhong mixed this style, the traditional Chinese style, with the style of oil painting that he'd seen in France, particularly the Impressionist art. His paintings are not supposed to look real. He's known for mixing the delicate spirit of Chinese ink wash painting with the colour and composition of the new European style, the style that he saw in France. So the way that French artists did it is they actually took a photograph maybe, or sat in front of something they'd like to draw a picture of, and they used dots of paint to build up a picture. Not strictly exactly the same, but it did give you an idea of exactly what they were looking at. Can you see how that might be built up with dots? So here again, here's the traditional ink wash style of art from China, and I don't know the names of the artists here because these are really old historical pieces of art. Here, particularly this one, you can see how old this one is. These may be in the style of. Here we have Pissarro, Van Gogh and Cézanne. These are French Impressionist painters that Wu Guanzhong was inspired by when he went to France for 3 years. You can see this one's made out of more swirly types of shapes, But you can still see the tree in the picture. I wonder if you can see the styles of these two types of art in Wu Guanzhong's art. Here's some of his work. He loved to draw blossom trees. Blossom trees are very symbolic of China. And let's see if we can see the different styles. So you've got the black shapes here of the tree trunks. You can kind of see it here, can't we? Let's look at a few others. Wow, I can definitely see it in this painting. And this one. And then can you see the style of the Impressionist painters, the dots and the shapes using colour? These don't have any colour in, so he must have got that idea from somewhere. Can you see this is lots of dots here, built up with pinks, but other colours as well. And here. Yes, definitely. Now I'm going to ask you this question again. Wu Guanzhong was an artist of feeling rather than fact. What do you think that means? Tell a grown-up or tell your screen. What do you think that means? Well done. So you might have said this means something like Wu Guanzhong's paintings they don't look real, but they're not supposed to look real. They are supposed to be beautiful, and they are supposed to make you feel or remind you of somewhere that you have seen. What we're going to be doing today is having a go at working in the style of Wu Guanzhong. So we would be doing this in our sketchbooks, but if you could get a piece of paper and choose one of your favourite pictures that he's done. Just have a little go experimenting with the style. So you wouldn't draw the whole picture, you wouldn't need to, but you might pick out an element of it, maybe the blossom or maybe a branch, and have a go at drawing it. So let me show you what I mean. When we're working in sketchbooks, when we're doing artwork, it is about experimenting and having a go at different styles and maybe different media as well. So you might do coloured pencil, or you might do pencil, pen. We've done charcoal, we've done paint. But it's really important to take pride in our presentation as well. So that means thinking about how we lay out the page, leaving room for notes, for our title, and having to think about what the page will look like when it's all put together. So here's an example of an excellent finished sketchbook page. Let me show you how we do this. So what we would have done is choose a little picture to stick in. Don't worry about that if you don't have a printer, because I'd still like you to maybe experiment drawing 2 or 3 pieces of his art. So if you could Google on any device, go on Google and type in the name Wu Guanzhong, press on the link in the Year 2 blog, it will take you to a page full of his blossom tree pictures, and I'd like you to have a go at drawing 2 or 3 pieces, different parts of paintings that you think, well, I'd like to try out that. Remembering that we are trying out these ideas because we are going to be putting together our own painting, our own piece of artwork at the end of this unit of lessons. When you do your little sketches, so you can see this person, they've tried out this style, they've tried out this larger, this person was studying thistles instead of blossom tree, they tried out this larger head, but they've tried it a few different times, maybe with pen, maybe with pencil, maybe with green. You know, they were experimenting, thinking, how do I think this will look best? Let me have a go 3 or 4 different ways and it will help me make my decisions. And then after that, they've drawn notes. So they've put, I like this drawing. I've had a go at doing these. I like how I've used colours here, different colours. And they've just given themselves a little bit of advice as well, what they'd like to improve on when they looked back at their work. So this is an example of mine. I chose this blossom tree because it let me study the blossoms closely. It was quite a zoomed in picture of the branches. So I chose it, and I wrote that little note there about why I chose it. And then what I've done is I've tried to have a go at building it up with different thickness of pencil. So I started like this, and then I built it up like this, put it in, and I really concentrated on the shape and how it goes thinner and adding the blossoms on. Next I thought I'd have a go at this one because it's quite difficult with different shapes here, as you can see. When you've finished your drawings, I'd like to give them to somebody in your home. It could be a grown-up, it could be a brother or a sister, and I want them to give you one piece of hot advice and one piece of cold advice. So something that you've done really well and something, a little bit of advice that you think, actually this picture would look even better if you changed this about it. Okay, so you might give advice about shape, about a style that you've used that you've done really well. They might say, oh, I'd go with this style, you do that well, that would look great in your final picture. They might say, not this one looks a bit too tricky. They might give advice about the colour. And things that you can change, maybe the detail, that's another good one. So this is your picture, this is what I want you to do today, just experiment. Tomorrow we will study the drawing element a little bit more, and then after that we will be adding our colour. I am really excited to see these finished pieces of artwork here too, so I hope you enjoy making them.